Hi everyone, Robin Holstein here in the Cluttered Studio. I'm back. Sorry for taking a month off. The Kickstarter I just launched, super successful, but also it just wore me out and I needed a break. Also to reset and to refocus my energies, like what do I need to move on to next? And what I need to move on to next is the comic book that I keep talking about. So, this is the first video I'm going to be sharing. I'm going to go through the entire process, at least that's the intent of this playlist series. I'm going to go through the entire process of creating a comic beginning to end, from concept to marketing and kickstarting the book, and maybe even after. There's an entire life cycle that has to happen, especially for self-publishing. There's just so many steps that have to happen. Yeah, so I'm going to go through it all. And I'm actually excited to learn all this stuff, and am more than happy to share my knowledge. I'm going to make mistakes, for sure. But, you know, hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. And this first book, like, I just wanted to get it out there. And I know I'm going to make mistakes because I learn from practice. So I got to get this book out, and and then immediately start just another book. And after that, another book. Got to get this ball rolling. All right. So today I'm going to talk about Logline. It's Loglines. The logline I learned from. Oh, I don't have the book with me. Hold on. Logline is a term that I learned from Blake Snyder's book, Save the Cat. It's this one right here. I've actually read several books on writing, and so far I'm really enjoying Save the Cat because it's super structured. I went off and started writing before the Kickstarter and spent months writing. And that was on Sid Field's screenplay book, which is, Blake Snyder actually mentions it in this book. That was like his go-to book, but he needed more structure. And that's what happened with me. I actually needed more structure. Sid Field, for me, hopped a little too much into detail too early, and I started getting bogged down by detail. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was saying how creating all that backstory and detail can confuse, I guess, the writer, because it doesn't service the story. So I'm doing Blake Snyder's method, and going through a lot of structure and focusing on the story arc and making sure all the details support the story arc. And we'll see how that goes. I'm sure I'm just going to keep reading different types of books on writing. Most of the books I do read for writing is mostly from screenplay writers, because they are the best set up for comic book writing. Now, the logline. Kind of skipped around for that. The logline is a one to two sentence of what is it? What is the story? If you have a story, can you tell me the story in a sentence? Or, like, I have my story, can I tell it to you in a sentence or two? And it's pretty bare bones, broken down, and it's great because it forces to focus. It's early on focusing on story and not any of the details. Because sometimes you can go up to someone and ask, like, "Oh, what's the story about?" And, like, in their mind, they haven't, like, narrowed it down to, like, a 1 to 2 sentence, and so they're just going through, like, this big catalog of detail, and they just can't do it. Okay, the log line for my comic. I have a cheat sheet right here, and I'm going to have to be looking at it to read it off to you. I still need to commit it to memory, but here it goes. A straight-laced teenage girl puts her dreams of Airship Academy on hold to save her rogue brother from aggressive debt collectors by joining a misfit crew of flunkies who specialize in paranormal jobs in order to pay off her brother's debts. That's my logline. Now, the logline has to have a couple things, according to Blake Snyder, in order to make it sound appealing. One is irony. So I'm taking a girl who is straight-laced, but she has to, in order to make her money, she has to start rubbing elbows with people who are just the opposite of her. And a compelling mental image. Can you see my log line? Like when I tell it, I'm also going to put it down into the description so you can read it. Do you see a world or like kind of like a movie unfolding from that? If so, then I'm going down the right track. Audience and cost. Some of these bullet points, because Blake Snyder is worrying about creating screenplays for movies. Some things I don't have to worry about for comics. So, audience, I do have to worry about. I realize, because I have to figure out who I need to market with. I didn't realize that until I started going through my first Kickstarter. When I kickstarted like last month, my newest art book, and that was super important to realize. So my audience, hey, fantasy adventure folks, come on in because this is just going to be straight up high fantasy adventure. That's what I like, but I just want to make sure there's a compelling story along with the cool visuals. Now, oh, and the cost. So the cost is less we have to worry about. Of course, we have to worry about cost. Like I have to worry about cost when I put this together, but I don't have to have actors or a crew. I'm a one-man army if I want it to be, and I can hire out for a color artist or a letterer. It's a small team, so cost is low. And then the last thing that Blake Snyder recommends is a killer title. I don't have a title. I kind of skipped that one. I was like, hopefully the title will be revealed. Right now I'm just calling it Title Locked. TIDAL. That's my working title. And that's it. That's a log line from according to Blake Snyder. It's super cool, super helpful. I do recommend reading this book. Thankfully, most screenplay books are quick reads. This one's a really quick, clear read. Some of the ones that do take a little bit longer that I've read or haven't gotten through. I've read through all of Robert McKay. I think that could be wrong. His book on story. It's pretty dense, and hard to get through. And then there's I started reading Joseph Campbell's A Hero's Journey. That one actually I started having a hard time getting through as well. It's just how my brain works. I just need plain speak. I need the layman books. Yeah, so that's my log line. Please let me know what you think. And please subscribe to my channel. Like I said, I'm going to start coming at you with these videos about the comic as I go through it. I hope you join me on my adventure, and we're going to have fun. So subscribe to my channel. Also, I have my Patreon page. You can check that out. One of the things is that for $1, you get access to the Patreon only feed, and also your name in the credits at the end of these videos. And any books that any art books in the future, I'll put you down on the Patreon page. Please join my newsletter because I will be sharing it once a month, and it's a good way to stay up to date. And I'm going to be sharing a unique piece of art that I don't share anywhere else, and it will be collected into either probably, it usually gets collected into an art book at a future date. I successfully kickstarted my newest art book, Marked. It's coming soon. And I'll let you know when pre-orders come out, or pre-orders are available, I should say. That's it. Please let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'm happy to share more. Bye.